Here we are now in 2020. It's gone from 2011. Drinkhall, Pitchford, Drinkhall, Pitchford, Pitchford. Is it anybody's? Is Paul at 30 years old slowing down at all? I don't really think so, Don. But both of these players have been tested on the way here. Pitchford has dropped a couple of games against Ethan Walsh on the way here. Brilliant performance from young Ethan. Junior player, so like Mari, providing a young challenge to the top players. Great rally to start with. And also Paul was given a scare by up-and-coming under-21 English champion Luke Saville. And Paul had to go to the 7th and final game to get through against Luke Saville. So I don't think this is going to be an easy match for either of them. I do think Paul's got a chance, I agree with you. You have to say the favourite, though, is Liam Pitchford because of such a high world ranking. That's beautiful, Don.
It's a very strong backhand topspin. Took it ever so early, whipped it on the diagonal. Oh, the ball girl just fumbling the ball in the corner. It's the ball. Boys and girls have been amazing here as well. They come running in at the back of the court when the ball hits the barrier, and meanwhile the umpire throws the ball to the player so we can keep the play more continuous. No delays as they... But again, that needs to be well coordinated, and it has been. Well done, the ball boys and ball girls. 2 points apiece. Drinkhall keeping level, and there's that famous behind the back shot that featured very prominently on breakfast TV. I saw it. I got up for my morning cup of coffee, and there was Liam Pitchford doing backhands behind his back against Harry Moto. I think it was one of the top players.
Yeah, fantastic when it works. I have to say, Don, I'm not sure it's a winning tactic. It might get you out of trouble once when you've completely gone the wrong way. So, both players happy to open up with their backhand. Not too much running around to get the forehand in from the backhand side, but that'll come. And we'll see the tactics evolve throughout the match, I've got no doubt. Liam happy to stand on the backhand mainly, forehand from the crossover as well. But Liam's so quick, so explosive, it's very difficult for Paul to get Liam out of position because he's so quick and his recovery is so fast.
The other factor that I think comes into play from a psychological point of view is that when you're expected to win, when you're the higher ranked player, the pressures are different when you are the number 2 player in a contest, when you are not expected to win, but you know at the back of your mind you're in there with a good chance if you play well. It's a nice situation to be in. You're the underdog, but you know you're in there. Different pressures for the top player who's expected to win. Of course, Liam Pitchford is very experienced now at that. He's been at the top for a significant period of time, copes with the pressure incredibly well. But nevertheless, for Paul, people will be talking like we're talking, that Liam's the slight favourite, but Paul can do it. It's quite a nice psychological situation to be in. You can relax, you can go for your shots.
Yeah, and Paul's so accomplished. I mean, Liam's got, between mixed and men's doubles as well as men's singles, Liam's got 13 national gold titles to his name. But Paul Drinkhall has 22. Other than Desmond Douglas, he's the highest ever title winner at the national championships.
You have to say, though, and I totally accept those points, but the men's singles is almost a blue ribbon event, and Paul is part of an elite group of 3 players who've won it 6 times.
6 times, yeah.
Alan Cook, Dennis Neal and Paul, with Desmond Douglas way out there with 11 victories. So Paul will be looking to pull away from the Alan Cooks and the Dennis Neals if he can, to be second on it in his own right, whereas Liam has got 5 victories, and right, he'll be looking to join that exclusive club.
He'll
so
need, if he wants that that kind of lifetime achievement award, Liam really needs to win this one, because otherwise Paul will be 2 ahead of him. And every year that goes by, there's always a risk he might not win them all in future.
So there we go, 3 game points, Paul Drinkhall.
Well, Paul's not necessarily played all the big shots, but he's played very tight without making mistakes, and that's given him game points. Oh, what a backhand from Paul. He nearly got out of trouble there. Tom Jarvis's parents and family. Tom went out in the semi-final to Paul, 4-1. Jarvis actually won the first game, but Paul did a great job, Don, of turning young Tom Jarvis around, the young pretender. Tom Jarvis seeded 4 for the championship, meeting his seeding position. Couldn't quite beat Paul. And first game, Paul Drinkhall. Well, what you said, Don, has pretty much come to pass. You know, he had a chance, and in the middle of the game, and then after the middle of the game, you just saw a very, very tight and consistent Paul Drinkhall. A couple of little mistakes from Liam as he played the bigger shots, and that was enough to put Paul's nose in front, and was kind of the way that Paul's managed to come back in difficult matches before, like beating Luke Saville 4-3 earlier in the championship.
I think Paul Saville played outstanding table tennis and played at a level I've not seen him play before, so full marks to Paul. But I do think Paul Drinkhall there won the first game 11-2 and then coasted in the second game. Luke Saville then jumped on the opportunity and played a wonderful game thereafter, but Paul took the pressure off and allowed him back into it, not discrediting Paul Saville at all, because he played superb and he could have won. He could have won the 7th game. Right. It was that tight. Yeah. But I think here, psychologically, it's different. Paul knows he can't take it easier. He can't drop away from the table and topspin and play soft balls. And he's certainly totally focused here, as you would expect. It's the national championship. It's the men's singles final.
Yeah. Well, Paul's defending his lifetime record here. He wants to keep 2 ahead of Liam in terms of men's singles championship wins, and that'll give Liam a mountain to climb to overtake that record. But that backhand early, Liam's the one that's known for this, Don, but Paul's actually outstripping him with that first backhand across court.
And the interesting thing is Paul's playing it so well off the bounce, close to the table.
So do you think Paul's playing as well as ever, Don?
Well, I said that before the semi-final. That I mean, I've watched Paul for 14 years now. I've watched him win the European Youth Championships. I've watched him win, world events. He won the Spanish Open 2014. And he's capable of amazing table tennis. But I do think at 30 years of age, he's playing as well as I've seen him play. He's as fit as I've seen him. He's been working out hard in the gym. It's pretty clear on the road, wherever he's doing his workouts. He's looking fit. He's looking highly motivated. And of course, that's the benefit of having good players, world-class players around you. They're pushing you all the time.
Great rally. Beautiful from both players.
Fantastic table tennis by both players. It's world class.
It's world class.
And you mentioned the Tom Jarvis match. Well, Tom Jarvis is a great player.
Yeah.
And to have him pushing the older players is a very healthy situation for Team England.
Lovely short return from Paul. And the heavy, slow topspin to the backhand. That's one of Paul's trademarks, isn't it? To actually stop the forehand topspin from going across the diagonal and just slow it down and go down the line when they're leaning the wrong way. Not always using the power. Using his smarts as well. So experienced and such a warrior with great touch and power. Oh!
What a response there from Liam Pitchford. Quick on his feet, round the backhand to play that forehand. There he goes.
Nice short serve from Paul, but Liam's in again. That one didn't creep over the net, so point to Liam. So just, if you just tuned in, it's best of 7 games in this, the final of the Senior National England Championships. First to 11 wins a game. First to win 4 games wins the match and the title. Joe Drinkhall there. Come on, Paul.
But Paul there with the backhand there, that backhand. And he comes again with the backhand. There it is. Just soaking up the speed and spin from Liam Pitchford.
Yeah, controlling it and using the wrist just to give it back with a little bit of interest so that the ball hits the other side of the table and just kicks on away from the table. So Liam knows he's under a decent threat here.
Two big points, 2 big serves coming up for Paul Drinkhall.
Yeah, 2 on his serve would be nice.
And that was a lovely serve. It was lovely because the second bounce was going to be on the baseline, and Liam wasn't sure whether he could play away from the table or play over the table. Slightly hesitated.
Yep.
And again, same sort of service. Liam this side decided to push. He pushed it slightly long, allowed Paul to get in with the topspin. So 2 out of 2 on the Drinkhall service. 9-5 now. Oh, it's a great response from Liam. It's a good return from Paul, but Liam relaxed on the backhand there.
Good backhand down the line from Liam, and then forehand down the line. And that's what he tends to do when he gets the opponent away from the table, swings it wide of the backhand and going away into the barriers.
So both players, the last few points, have dominated behind the service being crucial. And now Paul Drinkhall has his 2 serves to come. He definitely needs 1 point. And from his point of view, he needs 2. Oh, did that go under the net? I'm not sure. I think it...
No, he managed to lift it while he was falling over, Don. And it had to be a winner, so he gave it a little bit extra. And indeed, I think Liam's eye was probably taken off the ball by the fall of Liam. So if it had come back, then Paul would have been left laying on the floor. But Paul took the points.
3 game points, and he wins it at the first opportunity, taking the second game 11 points to 7. And Paul Drinkhall now leads by 2 games to 0. Against the form book, one would say, but as we said at the beginning, Colin, this is going to be close.
Everyone's form book except yours, Don.
Well, no, I just pointed out that I think the pressures are slightly different. Paul's not expected to win, and therefore I think mentally that helps him a little bit with the pressure situation. Liam, of course, ranked so high in the world, doing so well, semi-final of the Hungarian Open, last week, a major international Open. There is Liam in the semi-final, with a good chance to win it actually, but nevertheless, semi-final, wonderful performance. So he comes here, and if anything, pressure's on him, which is tough.
Yeah, it is tough. The risk for Paul now, of course, is that Liam says, well, if I do play a little bit defensively or tighten up a little bit, I'm going to lose anyway. So at 2 games down, Liam can relax and just come out fighting. And that one did go round the net, Dom. You're absolutely right. It didn't go over the net, it went round the net. And that's what made it so hard for Liam to block. So, will Liam relax?
There will be twists and turns to come. Sit back, relax, and enjoy it.
I'm not sure people will necessarily relaxed on, but very exciting stuff. At least we're not under the pressure that they are. Paul Drinkhall, 30 years old, playing as well as ever. 6 men's singles titles, 22 national titles overall. But Liam, the reigning champion. So 2 great fighters. Of course, when they play team event, Don, they're great friends. They train really, really well together, and they've had some fabulous international results as a team.
They certainly have. I was commentating actually at the World Team Championships in Kuala Lumpur when they won a bronze medal. Some amazing wins, beating Germany, Sweden, and very close against Japan in the semi-final when they lost. Very close. And then I was privileged to be at the Copper Box when
2
they
years
won a
ago,
bronze medal.
World Team Cup.
Correct. And then 2 years later, then last year they got a 5th place in the World Team Cup in Tokyo. So, few could argue that we're not one of the top 6 teams in the world at this point in time, with those on the back of those results.
Yeah, and so a very, very strong unit together. But now their job is to break each other down and see who can be the last standing.
I think what the 2 lads playing wouldn't mind me saying is that, having watched those games, that Sam Walker played a very strong role as well.
Well, yeah, they have done it on their own, haven't they?
No, and in Malaysia, in the World Championships. You know, we were down, struggling against Germany. Sam came on the table, won a crucial game against Japan in the semi-final that gave us a lifeline, and we almost took that lifeline and got through. So Sam Walker's played a big role as well, it has to be said.
Yeah, and Sam, of course, losing semi-finalist this morning against Liam. Sam took the first game actually against Liam 11-4. Just goes to show the class that that we have and that he has. But overall, Liam won 4 games to 1. The last 2 were 11-9, 11-8. So Sam Walker's certainly beaten Pitchford before, but not today. And Sam Walker's still looking for his first national men's title. Meantime, these guys have been dominating, and you can see why. Oh, Tintin and Kelly Sibley there watching. Multi-women's champion Kelly, and again the winner of the women's this year, Tintin Ho, after Maria Sapsinos won it last year. So the women's just completed, and they're enjoying watching the men's final. The last of our matches today, this one.
Liam there going for the long fast push, just overcooked it there, pushed it a little bit too long, but looking to be positive. It's the right tactic, but just didn't quite come off. But still Pitchford with a 1-point lead.
Short serve, short return again. That time the long push worked for Liam, but Paul picked it up easily.
But he was assisted by that net cord there, was Paul. It just caught the top of the net. It affects the trajectory of the ball, and Liam had no chance there. So Liam very unfortunate. Good return of serve. But Paul deserves the credit in the sense that he played that backhand
he
top
played
spin.
the right shot, and he played it pretty well. Oh, Liam just opened up, sent Paul the wrong way, diving towards the forehand, then changed it into the backhand. Again, the net getting in the way.
Good flick.
7-all.
Deep into the Drinkhall backhand, 7 points apiece. So Paul Drinkhall now with his 2 serves. In the pressure situations, he served well and got in well. Let's see if he can do it at 7-all in this 3rd game.
Get over. 7, 8.
Short play. Liam's first in, but not with a big one, but followed up with a big one, certainly.
That short play was superb control by both players, and then Liam Pitchford unleashes that monster forehand topspin. Great play.
Paul doing well there, just to make the backhand loop difficult for Liam. Kept the backhand push just a little bit shorter.
Big point for Pitchford. He needs this one.
Yeah, his last serve before Paul's serve.
2 game points now for Liam Pitchford. Paul Drinkhall with his serves. Needs these 2, obviously.
Harry Juttle in the chair, officiating. 2 game points to Liam Pitchford. Can he get a game on the board?
8, 10.
Paul's in first, not with a big one, but enough to keep him in the game. 9, 10 and serving.
Short serve, order of the day, I feel. And then in with a topspin if he can.
Yep, short to the forehand, forehand across.
But the return was excellent
Return
from
was lovely,
Pitchford.
yeah.
Good touch, kept it tight, and Pitchford wins the 2nd game 11-9. 2 points, or better still, 2 games to 1 as the players go back to their respective corners.
Liam takes that game, doesn't look too happy though. Is that John Davis in the corner? A couple of highlights. A lot of touch to touch. Who's in first? They're certainly not scared of each other's loops if they're coming from low. Great cat and mouse play there, daring the other person to try to topspin. If they don't get a strong one in, they can counter it. Who's in there? So Paul getting in fast. You can see from the side, the camera that's on the side of the table, Don, just how fast the play is. They're sometimes playing 3 balls a second between them.
So confirmation of the situation there in the final. We predicted this would be a thriller, and a thriller it is. Paul Drinkhall takes the first 2 games. We predicted twists and turns, and that's exactly what we're getting. What will be the next turn? Will Paul Drinkhall get off to a good start, notch up a 3-1 lead, or are we heading to 2 games apiece? The next 5 minutes will tell that story.
Short play again to start. I mean, really, Paul isn't putting much variation into his the direction and speed of his service. Changing the spin, Dom, but a lot of serve short to Liam's forehand.
I do think now with the players, it'd be interesting in your opinion, Colin, that the emphasis is on deception, making your opponent think there's more backspin or less backspin than there actually is. And if the ball just pops up a fraction, of course, players can get in. I do agree, if you change the direction, you keep your opponent on the toes. But I do think possibly now the emphasis is more on deception of spin.
Well, I agree. And all they need is an extra ball height, don't they? You know, if the ball's just a ball height higher, they can get in with a stronger shot, and that'll be enough to get in a pressure flick or something. But I have seen a few scatter diagrams of where players are serving to at elite level, and quite often against a certain opponent, they'll put the ball into a very tight area with hardly any variations of direction and speed, if they're playing someone who's genuinely world class, as Liam is. Without that, Paul was giving it much more variation in the earlier rounds, but against Liam, he can't afford to just say, well, mix it up and do a long serve and have Liam just smash it past him. So a lot of thought goes into what serve to do, a mixture of defence and attack in the thinking about the serve. And that one worked beautifully. A float serve, not as much backspin as it looked. Liam popped it up slightly, and that was enough for Paul to get his backhand topspin down the line. You can see it again there, just popped up.
Bang, straight down the line.
Against Wonderful. You and me, that's not popped up, that's low. But if you Paul Drinkhall, that one popped up.
And again, he's down the line this time again. It's another good tactic for any youngsters watching. How much these players go down the line as well as on the diagonal into
it's
the
a
body.
hallmark of the top 50 players in the world, isn't it? They can go just as effectively down the line and quite often down one line, get the ball come across the diagonal and then go down the other line. X's and H's and be the H's if you can do it. Paul keeping the pressure on. Again short to Liam's forehand. Again Liam goes short touch. Return to Paul's forehand. So they're both peppering each other's short forehands. These days I think players are more scared of a backhand flick than they are of a forehand flick, Don. Oh, and that was well done by Paul. He offered the topspin to Liam. Liam picked up the backhand topspin. But what a counter from Paul. Good setup. Very difficult to do. Very brave.
Paul apologised there. I'm not sure why. Maybe he just didn't quite get the contact. He got a dodgy
bit of a thick contact, maybe? Yeah, and that's where Liam gets the opponent away from the table and then goes wide into the backhand. Not necessarily the most powerful shot that you can do. But you can see here the second topspin. Make sure he gets that wide angle.
Paul's going to win very few points from that position when he's away from the table. He's backing off again. There, the ball just caught the top of the net.
Well, yeah, he's not going to win playing like that. If he can pick up 15-20% of the points where he's genuinely stuck back there, but like you say, Don, if he starts to wander, and Paul has been known to do that occasionally, then I think Paul will be in danger. Give Liam time, and Liam will not only get the right shots in, but he'll swing it either way.
But I think Paul understands that very clearly, and he's doing everything he can to stay up, get him with that first topspin there. But nice, he's away. But even when he was away, then he tried to push back into the table.
I think Liam's slowing down the topspin where every time he thinks that Paul thinks it's going to come hard. And that is getting Paul. You can see him off balance there, and he's just struggling. And then it's a free shot for Liam, straight through the crossover. Great tactics from these two men.
So, moving towards the business end of the fourth game, 7 points apiece. It is anybody's game at this stage. Pitchford with the serves.
Oh. No, I think that's a side, Don.
It's an interesting one.
Liam said sorry. Was that an edge? Did it hit the top of the edge? Or, oh, that might be an edge.
Hard to say. I think he hit it from within the sideline, which could be crucial.
And was that TTR, table tennis replay, that they're using there to judge? They gave the point to Liam as an edge.
It was close, and the great thing there was nobody argued, nobody, okay, that was a tough call. It went against me, it went for me, and let's just get on with it. And there was no discussions, no arguments, and we're already 8-all, and it's Paul now with his 2 serves. He needs at least one of these points because Liam will be serving at the end of the game.
Short to the forehand, short return across court. So there's the pattern on Paul's service. So is Paul happy with the pattern, or does he need to be the one to break the pattern? Will it be a short serve to the forehand? Will it be a short return across to Paul's forehand? Yes, pretty much. But Paul's in. 9-all.
I thought that serve was going to drift long as well from Paul, but Liam took it over the table, and Paul managed to get in with the first strong topspin. So 9 points apiece.
Do you think Liam could have waited for that in topspin?
I thought so, yeah.
You think
but then again, it's dead easy from sat up here in the box looking down.
Yeah. And if you can't get a good one in, sometimes it's best to refuse it.
There,
yeah.
That was mid-table,
yeah,
so I thought it was going long, but
yeah. Maybe Liam missed an opportunity.
I certainly wouldn't argue with these two playing at this level. 9 points apiece.
Paul will be disappointed with that because he kept the service return really nice and tight. Went for the long one, missed it.
That was brave play from Drinkhall there. Just caught the top of the net, flicked it off the end of the table. Game point to Pitchford. What we're going to see with the serve here. Might just give us a long one to break it up. Yes, he was fairly long.
He's got Paul away on the backhand again.
Paul struggling.
He's keeping him there into the crossover and the backhand. When will it go to Paul's forehand? We won't know. Paul's on the floor. So, 4th game and a recovery from Liam Pitchford by the narrowest of margins in both of those games. But he squeezed it back to 2-all. And John, being pretty positive there with Liam, seems to know what he needs to do. Liam looking a bit more relaxed, listening, nodding. Looks like they both agree on the way it's going and the plan for the next game. Some fantastic rallies here around the net, and then once Paul was away from the table, what could he do? This one went straight through the crossover. That was the one, Don, I think, that you thought he should have gone for, Liam, but in the end, Liam took it. 2 games all. First of 4 wins. Will it be Liam Pitchford's 6th national men's title, or will it be Paul Drinkhall's 7th? Paul obviously thinks he's got to do a few press-ups in between games.
So, momentum with Liam Pitchford. 2-0 down, 2-all. As we go to the 5th game. Mark Bates there.
Mark Bates, our sponsor.
Sponsor looking
Thank you,
on.
Mark.
5th game.
So Liam with the service.
Love all.
Again, the pattern is the service short, certainly a tight serve. And then getting in behind the serve, exactly what we saw there.
Well, your small variations and the deception that goes with it, Don, there's a little bit of topspin on that serve. Paul touched it and it popped up in the air.
That reverse action, we see the reverse action again and again. Liam's in behind the serve. And Paul, when he's away from the table, he's very spectacular. It's great entertainment. But from his point of view, he probably has a 20% success rate. And against Liam, it may be even less than that.
Yeah, Paul swinging at both sides with the opponent away from the table. Both of those serves, Paul didn't quite read either of them.
Left, love 2.
And there's the fast serve, and it works. Ace. Well done, Paul. Chose the time to vary it.
And it's worth giving that service, maybe even if it's only 1 in 10, because you want your opponent just wondering when is it coming. If they know it's not coming, they know it's going to be short.
Yeah, and the second serve as well was a variation. A lot more side spin and went into the middle of the table. So Paul just thinking up a few new tricks, and with some success.
3.
Just caught the top of the net, the return. But Paul was very positive there. It was only just over the baseline, and he got in with a good topspin. The right tactic from Paul there. Liam got in with a deep topspin, and I think it was the depth there that caused Paul the problem. But nevertheless, he went for the strong backhand topspin, which is exactly what he should be doing. Pitchford 4-2. Drinkhall with the serves.
2, 5.
Is the momentum shifting now? The game of 2 halves. The first half dominated by Drinkhall, 11-8, 11-7, and now we're into the second half, and it looks as though it's... Whoa!
Oh, backhands from Paul Drinkhall, like I've never seen him do. The first one was amazing. To do it twice, nothing that Liam could do about that, despite the fact that he had Liam away from the table. Look at the power in these backhands. One, and then the second one really surprised Liam. Beautiful play from Paul.
Serve drifted long. Drinkhall did well. He got in with the topspin into the Pitchford backhand. 1 point adrift now, Drinkhall. He's 5-2 down. He's taken 2 big points.
4, 6.
Heavy backspin service from Pitchford. 4-6. Drinkhall with his 2 serves to come. Has to stay in touch. Needs 1 and preferably 2 from his point of view. But that was a good return of serve. Long, fast push deep into the Drinkhall backhand. Again, that positivity about his play.
Pulls in. And that's a great shot, swinging it wide. Has a bit of a Pitchford swing with the side spin hook on the loop. Well done, Paul. Keeps him in the game. He's pretty much having to throw the kitchen sink in, though, just to stay level. Still trails by 2 points. After having a 2-0 lead, it's been tough for Paul. He's doing everything he can now, though, to attack his way out of trouble. And what a great backhand down the line. Again, forehand down the line. Good length on the lob from Liam. He couldn't make the second one.
The backhand down the line there was definitely the decisive shot that set up the rally.
Yeah, opened Liam up, didn't it? Nice flick from Paul. He's in trouble here. Can he retrieve? Not quite.
Again, Paul frustrated that he's been forced away from the table. It's almost like, what am I doing back here?
Especially as he was the one with the first strong attack. So hard for him. Needs 2 on his serves.
Big 2 serves coming up.
A nice little forehand block there from Liam from the crossover. Not a great shot, not a flashy shot, but just coping there with the onslaught from Paul, and then drew the mistake in the end. So smart play there from Liam. It's not all about the big shots.
9, 7.
Again, if I was Liam's coach in the corner, I'd be nodding my head. That was fine. That would have been a great return of service. Went for the backhand down the line, the good variation.
What a beautiful backhand from Paul Drinkhall.
Again, though, the serve just drifted long. Pitchford immediately calls a timeout. Pivotal moment in this final, 9-8. And of course, if it goes to 9-all, if Drinkhall can win the next point after the timeout, then he has the service at the business end of the 5th game. And hate to state the obvious, but this is a crucial game. To go 3-2 up, massive. So it's a 1-minute break. Each player can call it once during the match. So this is the first timeout. Interesting that Pitchford called it when he did. He just obviously wants a little bit of time just to reflect. He knows this is a massive point coming up. He's got the service. Just give him a little time to think about what serve he's going to do, what he's going to do behind the service.
9-8.
Chat it through with his coach. He's done that, and here we go.
Oh, that sounded painful.
Something hurt there. I think he kicked the base of the table there.
The ball certainly popped up. Again, Paul didn't read the topspin on that serve, popped it up, but Liam, in extending himself, I wonder if he's hurt.
No, I think he just kicked the undercarriage of the table. Obviously sounded potentially bad, but Liam's absolutely fine. And now Paul, 9-all with his 2 serves to come. Can he take the 2 points with a serve? Oh, the long push from Drinkhall. That was brave. Liam did well there. He returned the serve tight. He cancelled out the advantage of the serve. And indeed, it was a long, fast push from Drinkhall that gives him game point. Pivotal moment in this final.
Oh, edge ball.
10-all.
Liam saved it by hitting the edge of the white line. The margin's just a couple of millimetres either way. And that would have been 3-2 to Paul and put him in with a game of the championships. And just the top of the net again, a couple of millimetres, asking for a let serve.
No, he's asking for the ball.
The ball?
Yeah, the umpires now are throwing balls in and the ball boy's taking them away.
I
so
see.
He was just asking for a ball.
I thought he was asking for a let, but no, he's accepted that. He wants to get on with it.
Correct. Game point
Let.
to Liam Pitchford.
So both players working to stay free mentally while they could be so tense. That's a beautiful flip from Paul. He didn't expect the return, and Liam takes it as a result. Paul really didn't expect that return to come back, Don.
There was one backhand there, the one that Pitchford managed to return, and then the strong backhand tops that he did behind that shot was truly amazing. So it was a pivotal moment. It was a moment that eventually came down to a wonderful backhand from Liam Pitchford, and the edge ball at 11-10 on a game point kept him in it, and then he went on to win it. It was 10-9. He was 10-9 down, Pitchford, and he got a thick edge. And I think you mentioned, Colin, that is the difference between winning and losing. Millimetres.
Well, he had a couple of millimetres with the edge, a couple of millimetres in the next rally where Paul hit the top of the net, and then a surprise return from Liam, which fantastic credit to Liam. He played a shot that hadn't happened all through the game, and that was just enough to shock Paul. He wasn't expecting it, and that has given Liam the third game when Paul Drinkhall was 2 millimetres away from taking it for himself. So Paul in a critical situation now after being 2-0 up. He's now 3-2 down. And for the second game in the row, he's on the floor at the end of the game.
So the crowd enjoying it, applauding the players as they make their way back to the table.
Sixth game. Drinkhall serve. Love all.
Paul Drinkhall with the service at the start of the 6th game. He led by 2-0. Pitchford now leads by 3-2. The difference has been marginal. Pitchford has won the last 3 games, momentum clearly with him, but those 3 games were 11-9, 11-9 and 12-10. Doesn't cup tighter than that.
Lucky net there for Paul. Keeps him in there. But I think Paul has a good hit rate, Don, over his career of winning in the final game. 4-3, 3-2. So he won't be out of it. He'll know that if he can just stretch Liam to a 7th game, he'll be confident to take it. If you're looking for a couple of tiny differences, Don, I'd just say Liam is just hitting Paul slightly better than the other way around at getting into the crossover. And the other one I think that is happening is that, while we're looking at some of the big shots, I think Liam's block has just had the edge over Liam's fighting against a fast topspin. Certainly in the last 3 games.
It's interesting, isn't it, to look for those marginal differences. Liam certainly played. It was almost as though when he went 2-0 down, I thought there's no point. I've got to relax. I've got to go for my shots. And I just thought he upped it slightly from where he was, only slightly.
Indeed, I think that was the only way he could was to relax and go for it. And not recklessly, but just to get rid of any tension, because the tension will actually slow you down.
The last 3 games, he's not played like a man who's under a bit of pressure because he's expected to win.
No, that's right.
Maybe in the first 2 games, he played a little bit like that, and it's only a 0.5% difference in performance, which is minimal, absolutely minimal. But at this level, that difference can be crucial.
Oh, Paul, that looked a tired shot.
Timeout coming from Paul, I'm sure. Yeah, there we go.
Is he taking it?
So 5-3 in favour of Liam, and that's... Paul knows that once he gets Liam away from the table, he should be winning 80-90% of the points, and the other way around. And of course there, Liam was away, tossed the ball back, Paul mistimed the forehand. So probably a good time to call the timeout, 5-3 down, having lost 3 consecutive games, albeit by the narrowest of margins.
Yeah, unsurprisingly, Paul's re-shoeing himself. I think it's the same pair of shoes, but he's sorting them out. You can imagine the strain that the shoes are under and the insoles slipping as they change direction. There's a lot of effort, sometimes around 5 times body weight, Don, going through the ankles. So the shoes have got to put up with a lot. So he's just pitted and reworked his undercarriage, got the shoes sorted out. And now certainly you just get the feeling the momentum is with Liam, but just a couple of points, Don, it all changes over again.
2 points against the serve, game on. But it's Paul with the serve, so if he can take the 2 points with his serve, it's all square at the halfway stage in the 6th game. Long way to go in this final. It's been a wonderful final so far, and I'm sure we're in for a great climax. But Liam just beginning to open up a gap here. 3 points. Certainly Paul needs this point because of course he's got the Pitchford 2 serves to come after this one.
You see the focus there for Liam on the return of serve, looking so intently for opportunity and to control Paul Drinkhall. Not the easiest of things to do. 7-3 and serving, certainly a nicer place to be.
But again, Liam has to keep the pressure on. He knows that if he just eases off a fraction, just tries to block a little bit, just return the ball, then Paul will get back into this 6th game.
Great return from Paul.
A lifeline for Paul Drinkhall.
Kept the serve really tight, didn't he?
2 points against the service now with his 2 serves to come. A 4-point lead now down to 2 points. Drinkhall with his 2 serves to come.
Six times champion to serve.
Flicked just off the end of the table.
Liam there, instead of going short across court, went half long to the crossover. And just see Liam just getting into the zone. Paul looks a little bit tired or spent. Not surprisingly, it's been a big physical battle for both players. And Paul, at 30 years of age, playing a very physical game still. Let's hope he can last a good few years yet, though.
9-5. 2 serves to come from Liam Pitchford.
And that's the one. He's got him wide of the backhand again. Keeps him there. 5 match points to Liam Pitchford. John Davis thrilled. First one, he says. Don't let Paul back in. And there it is. Liam Pitchford, 6 times national champion, wins against Paul Drinkhall, 6 times national champion. But in 2020, it's the man from Chesterfield, sponsored by Victas, playing in Japan for his club. Liam Pitchford, top 20 in the world consistently in recent times, up as far as 12 in the world. He's beaten 3 world number 1s in the last couple of years. And Paul Drinkhall still playing as well as ever in his life. And by the narrowest of margins, Liam came back from a 2-0 deficit. Did a fantastic job of just closing it down. But Paul Drinkhall was an edge away from making that 3 games to Paul Drinkhall. So the warrior, Paul Drinkhall, unable to finish it off. But a fantastic match, nothing in it. They know each other so well. They train, they play, they work together. They're on training camps together. And in this one, they're fighting against each other for the glory and for the lifetime career glory. But now both men with 6 national men's singles championships to their name. Paul with more doubles, men's doubles and mixed doubles to his name. But Liam, a couple of years younger, 4 years younger. So hopefully both players, though, with many, many years of fabulous table tennis to come for themselves in England and also playing for England.